To start the match, I was pretty nervous. It was my first time on Ashe. You could probably see it a little bit in the beginning of the first service game. And then it was like a pretty big hold there, so it felt nice to get out of that game, and then everything started rolling. I think he was feeling the nerves a little bit. I think it was his first time on Ashe also, so it's definitely not a normal place to play tennis. It's really cool. Walking out there, it wasn't even like a packed stadium or anything when we first started, but you definitely feel it. And I started getting things rolling, and I don't know, everything was going really well. It was going really fast, and then after the second, you kind of knew that he was going to come back out and play some really good tennis, pick up his level, and he did. And I gave him a couple looks there in the third, and he took it. And then, I had to stick with him there in the fourth and played a pretty good set.
Okay, great. Congratulations. Name and affiliation. Cindy, you can go first.
Thank you very much, Tommy. Cindy Schmerler from the International New York Times. I hate to ask you to look ahead past the U.S. Open, but I have to. You're playing Laver Cup for the first time. Can you talk about what you think that will be like, what you've heard? And is this a generational shift now that we do not have, Roger, Rafa, Novak, and Andy playing?
Yeah, well, so I went last year. I didn't play. So I got a pretty good Laver Cup experience. I didn't play one match, and we won, so that was pretty cool. But it'll be cool to really contribute to the team this year and play. I don't think I would go back if I was just riding the bench again. It wasn't the most fun for me, honestly. I was sitting there wanting to play and watching just a ton of tennis, but it was a good experience, and I'm really looking forward to playing that. It's cool playing team events in a sport that you really don't have too many team events. So it's cool to play with those guys. Especially so many of them are American this year, which is awesome. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
And that generational shift now that those four guys are all gone?
Yeah, it's definitely a big loss for tennis in general, not just Laver Cup. I don't know. Obviously it gives us a pretty good opportunity, so I think we're all looking forward to it.
Ava.
Wallace, the Washington Post, you talked about kind of going out on Ashe for the first time. I wonder if you had a reaction when you found out you would be on Ashe, when you learned, and why you kind of feel that atmosphere. Is it just how big it is and the size and kind of looking around at all those seats?
Yeah. Well, I thought I was going to be later in the afternoon on Armstrong. So when I got like first up on Ashe, I was kind of like, really, like they're putting me on Ashe. Like I knew there was like a pretty strong schedule of people, like Novak's in my half, Fritz, Foe, and we all know Foe likes primetime tennis on Ashe. So I was kind of surprised that they put me. I wasn't at all like mad about it. I was pretty excited. So I mean, I you know, it's an honor to play on that court, and hopefully I'll be back many more times.
Matt?
Matt Futterman from the New York Times, when you look at videos of yourself from either last year, 2 years ago, or videos of yourself now, what do you see now that's different in you as a player that you didn't used to see?
Damn, that's a good question. I don't know. I honestly couldn't give you an answer. I think, I mean, obviously I'm playing a lot better players right now than I probably was 3 years ago, and playing on bigger courts, and probably more excited to play right now than 4 years ago, for example.
Michael?
Hey, Tommy. Michael Lewis, Greenville Fletcher. Congratulations on the win. Like you said on the court after the match, what a strange match that was. You raced through the first two sets, and then it looked like, was it your backhand that sort of fell off a little bit in the third set, or what sort of, he obviously raised his level, but what sort of dropped, or what did you were not doing as well there in the third set, you think?
Well, this is going to sound funny, but we have like a thing between most of the Americans where we think when people win a set 6-0, like it's like a curse, that you always lose the next set. To be honest, like I was thinking about it there in the third. I was like looking up at my team. I was like, oh God, like I'm gonna win this at 6-0. I was serving 5-0. I was like, oh no, like yeah. But I was thinking about that, and he obviously picked up his level a ton. Yeah, I mean, I think he earned the third set from me. I didn't like gift it to him by any means, and then I knew the fourth set was gonna be a battle, so I just tried to like reset it and get back into the groove of things.
Howard.
Hi, Tommy. Howard Fenrich with the Associated Press. Last year, do you remember if you had any thoughts, I guess, seeing Francis go on that run? You guys have kind of come up together and part of this group of American men about the same age, all of you kind of moving up now together. And was there any thought like, well, you know, I've played him, I practiced with him, I know if he can do it, I can do it kind of thing?
Yeah, I mean, I think all the Americans kind of feel that way. I remember after losing last year, I had never won a match at the Open before last year, so I won 2 5-set matches that I was like proud of, and then I lost a match to Casper, and I thought the match like was overall super high quality until the last set, and then I was pretty bummed. But normally when I'm done with tournaments, I don't watch anymore. But like Fo's pretty much my favorite player to turn on and watch, so I couldn't not tune into it, and it was super excited watching Fo play here last year. It was awesome. I mean, and going into every single match that he played, I was like, Fo's going to win this match. Fo's going to win this match. And, I mean, it not only brings confidence to him, but also to us, because we all know that we can play at that level, too.
Just to tell everybody, we will get to everybody, okay? You have to raise your hand. Raise your hands. We will get to everybody, okay? Willie, you're up.
Willie Weinbaum from ESPN.
Oh, Howard, I'm sorry.
Sorry, I just, if I could, just quickly follow up on that. And is it silly to think that that helped you in Australia at the next Grand Slam tournament when you had your breakthrough to that round?
I don't really know. I think maybe a little bit, but like when I'm in Australia, I'm not thinking like Fo made semis. Like I can make semis, you know. It's just maybe it's there in the back of your mind, but I'm not thinking about it now.
Willie.
Willie Weinbaum from ESPN. How would you describe for people who don't really have an understanding of the majors being the culmination of a lot of effort, not just a couple of matches in a row, the grind from a mental and physical standpoint that it is to advance at the majors?
Yeah, I mean, it's like a battle with your body every day. If we didn't have the days in between our matches, I mean, it would be, the level would drop a ton just because our bodies, like, we need the time to recover, especially when we play 5-set matches. It's tough on the body. Luckily, I've been playing 4 and 5-set matches that aren't much over 2 hours, which is pretty nice. But yeah, when you play 4 hours, it's brutal on the body. I don't know too many sports that go that long. I don't know off the top of my head right now any, but you really have to, like, your days off are not days off. Like, you're grinding all day to get your body back to where you can compete again.
Okay. Brian.
Brian Lewis from New York Post. This is twofold. I know you said you're not actively thinking about whatever, something that Fo did or some win that he had while you're out there because you're concentrating on the job at hand, but is there a certain sense amongst the American guys that are of a certain age that you guys all came up together where one win might, I don't know, either give you an impetus to follow that or to top that or trump that, a certain competition amongst yourselves?
Absolutely. I think there's very healthy competition amongst all of us. I mean, in no way would I say jealousy between us, but like we push each other with results or in practice. Like we'll practice with each other a ton and we'll push each other through practice. I mean, Fo's down in in Florida a bunch in preseason, and we get after it, and it's like inspiring to see people that we practice with every day, people that we feel like, you know, we all know that we can beat each other, and then when one of us does super well in a tournament, it's inspiring to us to go do it ourselves. So I would say, yeah, I mean, we all push each other with results.
And as a Jersey guy, I mean, obviously South Jersey.
Does that count?
Well, there is no Central Jersey. But I mean, as a Jersey guy, do you remember as a kid the first time that you got an opportunity to come here? I'm not playing, but I mean, did you ever get opportunities to come here?
Yeah, so
I remember when the first one was.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. I have a couple stories of when I came here. We always came to the qualifying rounds. I grew up in North Carolina, so we would always drive up from North Carolina to qualifying rounds because it was free. And every year we always had something terrible happen. Like one year my sister got like bit by like a poisonous spider, and it got like sliced open. We went to the emergency room here. And then the next year my mom, somebody dislocated their shoulder or something while playing, and my mom's like bad with pain. She passed out and like hit her head. And like we went to the same place in Ashe. We were like, oh, this is so cool. Like we're inside Arthur Ashe Stadium. Like, but we went to like the same doctor, and they remembered us from the year before, and they were like, you guys can't stay out of here. Huh? But yeah, I mean, we never really made it to the main draw, but we would always watch the qualifying, and during qualifying, most of the pros are here practicing, so we got to see, or most of the main draw pros are here practicing, so we got to see them. That was like kind of my only experience coming here.
Okay, David.
Hi, Tommy. David Kane, tennis.com. I feel like my questions would be a lot less thought-provoking by comparison, but I'm really curious about your racket spin and how you learn to do it, and if it's something that you do to keep you calm, and it's like a big fidget spinner. Yeah,
it's basically a big fidget spinner. I don't know if it's to keep me calm or not, but I don't know. I don't really think about it. I'm just kind of like spinning the racket. It's not really like everyone's like, oh, are you doing it for any purpose? Like really no purpose at all. I'm kind of just back there spinning my racket around.
Did you see someone do it and you copied it, or you just started doing it yourself?
Yeah, definitely when you're a junior, you're like, oh, that's really cool. Someone's spinning their racket, and you learn how to do it, and I guess it's kind of just like a thing that I can't get rid of.
Hey, Meredith Cash from Insider. Obviously, Eddie was back today. Were you able to hear him through all the noise at Ashe? And if so, how helpful and motivating was it to like have a familiar voice in your ear? Oh yeah, I definitely heard him. I think we got him tickets to our box or something, but he ended up getting better tickets and was like right on the side of the court. And I was definitely hearing him. It was fun. He definitely got louder after I lost the third, which was cool. I went and talked to him a little bit after, but yeah, it's really cool to have him there. I'm hoping he becomes famous or something. Can I just ask, do you know when school starts for him? Like, is he going to be able to keep coming?
It's a great question. I have no idea. I haven't thought about that at all.
Next Thursday here in New York.
All right, we'll do that, then Andrew, Matt.
So your next opponent, Ben Shelton, just won his last set 6-0. So I don't know.
Oh, nice.
So you're good.
So I'm coming out hot and winning that first set, basically.
But have you hit with him, practiced with him since Australia? I imagine you have, since you played him in Australia. What do you see? How do you size him up?
Trying to think if we actually had any practice sessions. We played doubles together in Miami. So we were like warming up together a bunch there, but I mean, I'm sure he's seen me play a bunch and I've seen him play a bunch, so we know each other's game pretty well. I'm happy to see him doing well this week. Should be a fun match, you know. I mean, I think everyone's excited about both of us right now, so I'm excited for that matchup.
Great. Andrew.
Andrew Jones, ESPN and Skate. Tommy, it's fitting that you're wearing an Eagles hat because Devin Allen signed an autograph on someone's forehead, and right when you were walking out, that kid asked you to sign your initials on his forehead. Was that the strangest autograph signing that you ever had? And are the Eagles gonna get the Super Bowl revenge and take this title this year?
I hope
after
so.
last season?
I definitely hope so. I mean, that would be really nice. The autograph question, he came up to me and had a picture that I signed his forehead last year. He was like, "You remember this?" I told him yes. I didn't remember it, but he was like, "Can we do it again?" And I was like, "Sure, man." Like, and I signed his forehead again. Definitely a strange request, but you know, I'll sign his forehead. Why not?
At least a winning.
Yeah.
Michael, go ahead.
Tommy, as you know, there haven't been a ton of great tennis players from North Carolina that have gotten this far, and certainly you and Patrick Gibson is doing well now. Talk about coming from a place like Greenville where not a ton of great players will come from, and what it means to you to be from there and sort of making it this far now at the Open.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we have Isner, or had Isner, which is pretty sad. I mean, he's
Georgia now.
yeah. I mean, he's an absolute legend of the sport, and it's crazy to see him go. He's been like a role model for us, but yeah, I mean, coming from Greenville, it's like a crazy road. Like I grew up basically just playing with my sister. And she ended up playing tennis at Louisville, and I moved to Florida, and that's where like my game really started evolving and getting a lot better. But yeah, I mean, there's not too much tennis in Eastern North Carolina, so it's cool to have Patrick Gibson still repping, and I'm not sure if he was here. He was here. Okay, yeah. He's getting healthy, and I think he's gonna start playing a lot better tennis here pretty soon. But I mean, it's crazy. I mean, I'm basically all over the world. There's nowhere that is really home for me right now, but I always, like, North Carolina is always like home in my heart. So even though I got the Eagles hat on.
Richard, did you want to?
Yeah, sure. I know you don't like to look too far ahead, but just talk about the momentum that you have going. Are you feeling it all like this is a little bit of a special story you're creating here?
You know, if you would have asked me that 2 days ago, down 2 sets, I would have told you the story might be coming to an end. But I'm happy to still be here. This is like the best tournament for Americans to play in. Obviously, around the grounds, everyone's really, really stoked and excited about the Americans. And every time I pass one of the TVs here, it's like, is an American or gonna win like a slam for the first time in 20 years? You know, you see a lot of it, but I'm just really excited to play every match. Like, I'm doing things I've never done. Never been in the 4th round of the Open. Never played on Ashe. Never won on Ashe. Yeah, so it's exciting for me right now. I'm really looking forward to the next match, and hopefully we can keep it going.
Willie, you can have the last question.
You mentioned that you think it'll be a fun match, your next one. How would you describe the similarities and differences between the two of you, and what the key to the match is?
I think our games are, like, pretty different. Like, overall, we have very different games. He's a serve and first ball guy, and he does it really well. He volleys pretty well. I'd say that's probably our similarity, that we like to find the net. But for me, I'm going to try and make it a little bit longer than serving first ball. That's my whole goal in the match. So, you know, he brings a lot of energy. I kind of like to keep it mellow. I mean, we're not, like, too similar on the court, so should be a pretty fun matchup.